And the first thing I'm going to go through is a general music example. And here is a lesson plan that is currently in the teacher resource link, or the TRL, that is available to you either through the TRL or that hyperlink document that I showed you earlier. This is a 4th grade lesson plan, and just that so you're kind of aware of the format, we have the lesson title, the grade, the pacing, the unit, the lesson plan, all of the standards that are associated with this, all of the assessments, concepts, vocabulary, any of other resources, links that are needed for this lesson, some differentiated learning, student examples, student supplies, teacher supplies, essential questions, hook activity, so on and so forth. And then procedures for this lesson, by activity for this lesson and by week. This seems to be a dual week lesson. So what I wanted to show you basically in the short amount of time we have left, about 20 minutes left, is how I took this lesson and made it into a digital lesson. So this would be for a setting in a normal classroom. It is a lesson on form, and the kids are being asked to create some sort of form based off Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, which is most commonly sung as ABA. I'm not going to ask you to sing it, and I'm not going to sing it for you. But finding things, how to, and then what they had to do was find things around the music classroom that represented ABA form, and that was part of their assignment. So this is the same lesson plan, essentially, but it's just taken into a digital platform. And what I wanted to kind of reiterate with this, and why I wanted to highlight it, was the fact that a lot of you have lessons that you have taught over the course of your career in music, or if you're starting out, you probably have gathered some resources and lesson plans that are great in a normal classroom setting. And I don't feel like we should throw those away, but actually show you how that, for instance, the form activity could be flipped over to a digital lesson plan. And basically, in these sample digital lesson plans, they look a little more updated, a little cooler looking with some graphics, but ultimately their format is the same, where we have enduring understanding, essential questions. All of these are the standards. All of the information that was in the original lesson is just in here. Just note that we have virtual student supplies now, unplugged student supplies for students who have issues with access, and then teacher supplies. And then it has distance learning plan, an asynchronous opening, and then some sort of, as an asynchronous opening, kind of like a hook or something to get them excited about meeting together. And then a live session where they have to create a form, and then an asynchronous assignment. And then in addition to that, there's also an unplugged version where we tried to think of ideas of how to still do this, but do it on a low-tech or unplugged assignment where they're still doing the same content, just doing it in a different way that's not really using digital tools. And here's what that looks like. So they met together. They're supposed to meet together synchronously on some sort of platform. This is just an example, of course. And then then they were supposed to asynchronously do a particular assignment. And we actually differentiated the learning from 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, where 3rd grade does it on Padlet, which is a little easier to accomplish, and then 4th and 5th grade, we used Flipgrid. So here's an example of what that looks like on Padlet. There's a lot of different, this is the 3rd grade. They were asked to find at home different materials that represent rondo form, which is ABACA. And you can see here, they're all these kids like this kid with the markers and the post-it note, A being the post-it, B being the highlighter, C being the black skinny Crayola marker, and then A again. So it's still doing the same activity they would have done in a normal classroom. They're just submitting it with the things they have at home and on this digital platform. And for the unplugged version, the teacher did have one student who didn't have the capability to post on Padlet, so they just asked for a picture to be emailed or texted to the teacher. Same thing, just a little different. For the older kids, they were asked to actually create on Flipgrid some sort of musical production that that represented ABA, rondo form, excuse me, again, ABACA. And I wish I could show you the videos, but it does have the kids' faces in it. But I wanted to show you what that looks like on the platform. Essentially, you would click on these little squares and it would show their video, their musical performance of ABACA. And it, again, it's kind of an assessment feature for the teacher. Do they know can they be able to reproduce and understand what ABACA, or teach somebody else what it looks like and sounds like and what it is in music. For an orchestra example, I had some help with a high school orchestra teacher who her district uses Google Classroom, and they do both. They do synchronous and asynchronous. They record some things using Screencast-O-Matic, which is a really cool screen recording software. And then they meet on Google Meet. And basically what they did was, using Google Docs, they sent their students in orchestra a bingo. So each week they had to complete this at their own time. They could do all 5 things bingo board, B-I-N-G-O, B for being basic skills, I, intonation, so forth. You can see that. But they had to complete them by the week and present them and send them to the teacher in some form or fashion. And this could be easily adapted to middle school orchestra or middle school band, or any content area. This idea could be adapted to those content areas. For a course example, this teacher used Microsoft 365 and basically got her students to develop their own variety show, and they had to perform. They had to create costumes at home with things that they had. They had to create a set list, and then they actually had to perform a song or two from those set lists. And in addition to that, she had challenges with her high school students where she would ask them to sing different things on TikTok, and they had to sing it and then create it back with them using the Remind app. So kind of a multi-feature for those students. And then quickly for the band example, we had a high school band director, again, using the Google platform that their district approved, and they had a fight song project, and everything was done asynchronously through Google Drive, in Google Classroom, I should say, all of the assignments, all of the video submissions by the student. They were supposed to record the fight song for their high school, and then they put it all together in a video. Just again, as another example for the band world.